You know, in today's hyper-connected world, the stories we think we know, especially those unfolding in the bright lights of Hollywood, can often be, well, far from the full truth.
Oh, absolutely. We see the headlines, we scroll through feeds, and we think, okay, got it.
Exactly. But what happens when a drama unfolds in such a unprecedented way that it completely flips public perception, makes you rethink everything you thought you knew?
It's fascinating, isn't it? And happening more often.
Sure.
The surface story is almost never the whole story, especially in Hollywood, an industry basically built on crafting images.
Right. Controlling the narrative. And that's precisely what this deep dive is all about today.
hmm
Our mission is to peel back the layers of this really widely publicized entertainment industry conflict, one that's absolutely captivated
We're
millions.
aiming to get you beyond those initial headlines, right? Look at the really starkly contrasting narratives, the evidence that came out.
Yes, to understand not just what happened, but what this whole saga really tells us about power, about truth, and, the changing landscape of information today.
It's such a prime example of how narratives get built up and then sometimes just as quickly completely torn down when deeper truths surface.
Perfectly put. So let's set the stage here. The film at the center of all this is It Ends With Us,
Mhm.
based on that huge bestseller by Colleen Hoover.
Right, massive book.
And it stars two very prominent figures, Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. Now, from the very beginning, even before the film premiered, there was this palpable sense of confusion.
Definitely, because Justin Baldoni, who isn't just the male lead, remember he's also the director or producer, he championed this book for years.
Poured his heart into it, by all accounts.
Exactly, and he was conspicuously absent from the entire press corps.
Just gone. Nowhere to be found. Meanwhile, Blake Lively, the female.
Front and center, everywhere, every interview, every red carpet.
So that early mystery, it just screamed that something deeper was going on, left a lot of us kind of scratching our heads as the premiere approached.
So what was that first, concrete clue that something was really off?
It was the unfollowing, the
Yeah.
mass unfollowing. Just before the premiere, the entire cast, Blake Lively included, all unfollowed Justin Baldoni on social media.
Wow, okay, that's loud.
Super loud. Think about how perplexing that is. This is the guy who optioned the book, drove the production for years, deeply invested.
The male lead opposite her.
Yes. And he's completely sidelined. No premieres, no interviews, just poof.
It was an absolute anomaly. You
Yeah.
just don't see that, especially for someone so central. And naturally, speculation started immediately.
And what were people guessing? At first, there was this thought, maybe a bit generous, that perhaps it was strategic.
Right. Given the film's theme, domestic violence, really heavy stuff, maybe they were trying to distance the male lead character, the actor, prepare the audience for that difficult relationship.
Sort of create that conflict vibe from the get-go.
Yeah, that was the initial kind of charitable take.
Yeah.
But as time went on, and it's just silence from both camps,
Yeah.
it felt less like PR and more like real conflict.
Mm-hmm. Serious discord. And that divergence in how they promoted the film just underlined it.
Oh, the promotional strategies. That
Yeah.
was something else.
Blake Lively's approach was, well, she was out there pushing it almost like a chick flick rom-com cutesy movie,
Right, all the colorful floral events tying into her character owning a flower shop.
and simultaneously pushing her new hair care line heavily, telling audiences to wear their florals to the cinema. It felt very light, superficial almost.
While Justin Baldoni, pretty much on his own, outside the official machine, used every chance he got to talk seriously about domestic violence,
Yeah.
about protecting women, about handling these stories with real care.
The difference was night and day. It was
Yeah.
striking.
Absolutely. One selling this, whimsical experience, the other earnestly tackling a grave issue.
So what does that early split tell us about differing visions, maybe? The pressures
Yeah.
of celebrity branding.
Well, it really highlights that clash, doesn't it, between maybe creative integrity and commercial interests. You can see Justin seemed really dedicated to the book's serious message,
Mhm.
whereas Blake, it looked like she was leveraging the film mainly as a platform for her brand, her other businesses.
And that kind of disconnect where one star wants to focus on the art, the message, and the other sees it more as a vehicle.
It almost always leads to conflict, right?
Yeah.
You end up with two very different films being marketed,
Yeah.
total confusion, and probably, a breakdown in trust behind the scenes.
Speaking of breakdowns, it didn't take long for the cracks to really show. Early leaks started coming out, seemed to be from Blake Lively's camp, as they say.
Mm-hmm.
And the allegations were specific, that Justin Baldoni had been unkind on set, and the really big one that he'd fat-shamed her. Asked about her weight.
Oof, yeah, that's a heavy accusation. But then the context came out almost immediately, didn't it?
Right. Turns out Justin has a severe back injury. There was a scene where he had to lift Blake.
So he asked her weight after talking to his trainer, just to make sure he could do it safely. Basic safety check.
Exactly. So that context completely reframed a fat-shaming thing. Made it look like, well, like hocus pocus, as some people put it, a manufactured claim.
But the damage was kind of starting. And Blake Lively's own behavior in interviews didn't help her case.
No, it really didn't. She wasn't just flippant about the serious subject matter, constantly pivoting to florals and hair care.
She also started getting attention for being kind of cold, sarcastic with interviewers.
There's that one clip that went totally viral. An interviewer asked genuinely how viewers affected by the themes should approach her. Should they share their experiences?
And her response was just, wow, don't talk to me.
Followed by a sarcastic, do you want my number? Do you want my location share? Just blew off a really serious, understandable question.
So dismissive. And that attitude, combined with the leaks,
Yeah.
it started a snowball effect.
Yeah.
People started digging.
Yeah, past stuff resurfaced, like apparently speaking over Leighton Meester during Gossip Girl days.
And that other viral clip where she snapped at an interviewer about a cute little bump, but the interviewer had apparently had a miscarriage or fertility issues. Just
Awful, awful. And seeing these things through this new lens, it just shattered her image.
dramatically. That carefully curated, sparkly, happy personality, best friends with Taylor Swift, the perfect relationship with Ryan Reynolds, cute kids.
It crumbled fast. She started being seen as this alleged diva and egomaniac, maybe her true personality hidden for years.
It just shows how fast a public image can fall apart under scrutiny now, especially when past actions get reevaluated. Highlights how fragile those celebrity personas are.
Totally. Once that trust is gone, everything looks different, doesn't it? People see a pattern.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A powerful lesson in today's media world.
So, okay. The movie comes out. It's actually a box office success, but Blake Lively apparently couldn't let go of her reputation taking such a hit.
Understandable, I guess, from her perspective. She felt wronged.
So she took matters into her own hands. On Christmas Eve, no less. 4 months after her image started unraveling.
Christmas Eve.
Yo.
Okay.
Files a bombshell lawsuit against Justin Baldoni and his PR team. The stated goal: clear her name.
The timing alone
Yeah.
feels pretty desperate, right? 4 months later, on a major holiday, a big offensive move to try and reclaim the narrative.
And she didn't file it quietly. She went straight to the New York Times, got this big article published titled, "We Can Bury Anyone Inside a Hollywood Smear Machine."
Oof.
And it included what they presented as private messages detailing an alleged campaign to tarnish Blake Lively.
So really going for the jugular there.
Yeah.
And the allegations in the suit itself were incredibly serious.
Oh, yeah. Hostile work environment, sexual harassment, retaliation claiming he organized a PR war because she complained.
And doubling down on the fat-shaming claim, despite the context we talked about.
But it went way further. Allegations he busted into her trailer repeatedly while she was breastfeeding against her wishes.
Wow.
Claimed constant sexual talk, making women listen to his former porn addiction stories.
Okay, this is getting intense.
Said he tried to force uncomfortable sex scenes. Allegedly made women watch videos of his naked wife giving birth, calling them pornographic.
Good grief. That's a lot.
Also alleged he didn't want an intimacy coordinator. Claimed there was a team meeting where concerns were documented. He agreed to change, but then continued, leading to the supposed retaliation.
These are damning allegations.
Yeah.
Like you said, if true, they're extra sinister because of Justin Baldoni's whole public brand.
Exactly. The feminist ally guy, the TED Talk on dismantling toxic masculinity, the Man Enough podcast exploring gender roles.
His entire image, man bun and all, is this non-toxically masculine feminist ally.
So Blake's team clearly knew how to hit him where it hurt, right? Weaponizing his own persona against him.
Absolutely strategic. They understood that public skepticism exists around those holier-than-thou ally types. Sometimes that image is used to cover bad behavior.
And for a moment there, Blake probably felt she'd won. Public opinion swung hard her way based on that NYT piece.
Yeah, for a hot minute, she must have felt totally vindicated.
Yeah.
On top of the world.
Well, that feeling, I'm guessing, didn't last long, maybe a week, because Justin Baldoni came back swinging hard.
Okay, the counterattack.
He filed a counter lawsuit, not just against Blake's team, but against the New York Times, too. for defamation,
Against the Times. That's bold.
alleging they deceptively edited the text messages in their article, and that moment, according to one observer, was when the entire thing broke open.
Right. And Justin's lawyer didn't mess around, immediately went on a press tour.
Yeah, very aggressive, basically saying, we have all the evidence, we will destroy Blake Lively, emphasizing their case was all about evidence and truth.
Directly challenging her narrative, her evidence, calling out the alleged tampering.
And they started releasing stuff. This lawsuit led to even more text messages, the unedited versions this time, and audio recordings too.
The unedited versions, that's key. The public was about to get the other side.
And nothing shifted public opinion faster, I think, than the revelation about the premiere night.
Oh, the basement photos. Yeah, that was visually devastating for her narrative.
Photos surfaced online showing Justin, director, producer, optioned the book, poured his soul into it, relegated to the basement with his friends and family.
Not even wanted at his own premiere.
Yeah.
Basically told, yeah, you can come, but stay hidden.
While Blake was upstairs, gallivanting around in her sequin floral dress, pushing her hair Caroline, the contrast was just brutal.
It was such a visual betrayal. It spoke louder than any edited text message possibly could. Public opinion just flipped. Again.
Instantly. That visual proof, him sitting on water cases in a basement, it created this huge emotional response. Sympathy shifted dramatically.
It really underscored that emerging power of visual evidence in these public battles.
And that shift got massively amplified by citizen journalism, especially on TikTok.
Oh, yeah. The internet turned on Blake. Fast and hard. We started seeing firsthand accounts popping up everywhere. PAs, extras, people who were actually there on set.
And what were they saying?
They painted a really different picture. Witnessing tension, yes. Blake and Justin screaming at each other. But also, Blake apparently taking over directing scenes herself mid-shoot.
Wow. Okay.
And crucially, multiple accounts mentioned her ignoring extras, while Justin would actively talk to them, apologize for difficult scenes, show concern.
So a stark contrast in on-set behavior, empathy versus detachment.
That's how it came across from those accounts. It created this clear picture of differing personas when the cameras weren't officially rolling on them.
It's incredible, the power of social media here, crowdsourcing information verification, completely bypassing the traditional media gatekeepers.
It's like millions of internet sleuths putting puzzle pieces together. A whole new ballgame for PR, isn't it?
Totally. Like that PR expert said, it used to be one New York Times article could control everything. Not anymore.
Now, social networks let everyone do their own research, draw their own conclusions. It's lifted the veil on the messy dynamics of filmmaking.
Creative differences happen, but power plays, that's different. And social media sees it all.
And that internet sleuthing, it could either massively help your case, like it did for Justin, or destroy it, like it did for Blake. Information control has fundamentally shifted.
And then came the really wild part, the nice pool theory.
Oh boy, yeah. This connects back to Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman suddenly being all over the "It Ends With Us" press.
Which was weird, right? They were playing their movie Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah, people speculated Blake was trying to create some kind of Oppenheimer-Barbie synergy thing. Just confused people mostly.
Then the theory started. Maybe Ryan and Hugh were actively helping to ice out Justin from his own movie's promotion.
Subtle undermining. But the really compelling bit came from people who actually watched Deadpool and Wolverine.
The nice pool theory. Viewers spotted this character. Looked a lot like Justin Baldoni.
Man bun, ultra-feminist ally vibes, soft-spoken, talks about faith, loving women, all hallmarks of Justin's public persona.
The implication being Ryan Reynolds maybe put this character in his movie to mock Justin. They were filming around the same time.
And the kicker. Nice Pool gets killed by Lady Pool. Played by Blake Lively, you can see her blonde ponytail.
And where does he die? In front of a flower shop. Blake's character shop in It Ends With Us. Remember, wear your florals.
It's just uncanny. It suggested this shocking level of on-screen bullying, an orchestrated attempt to mock him, push him out.
And this wasn't just fan theory. It actually got included as evidence in Justin's second lawsuit.
Which takes the alleged personal animosity to a whole new level, doesn't it? Using another massive movie as a weapon.
Unprecedented. What does that say about using creative projects as personal battlegrounds?
It suggests a vendetta way beyond professional disagreement. If it was intentional, it's a profound level of animosity. Using your platform to publicly shame someone, it points to a power struggle much bigger than just one movie. Incredibly aggressive, alleged professional sabotage.
Which leads us to Justin's third lawsuit, the real bombshell, $400 million. directly against Blake Lively and her team.
Yeah, that one was huge. And the lawyer's filing was written like a gripping story, clearly for public consumption, basically saying the internet was right.
A direct nod to all that citizen sleuthing. And it laid out the evidence meticulously.
Right. Reiterated, no fat shaming, explained the back injury again, but added a new detail. Ryan Reynolds allegedly berated Justin at their home for even asking Blake about her weight.
Wow. Intense reaction to a safety question.
And crucially, they released those contradictory texts between Justin and Blake, where he's being super supportive about her postpartum body image.
Assuring her they'd talk through and get creative together, make her comfortable, don't stress about your body.
And her response, thanking him for his understanding and support, calling it critical and very, very appreciated, even saying he helped her heal from experiences past.
Totally blows her claims of him being insensitive out of the water. Direct contradiction.
And they didn't stop there. They released Blake's own texts, the ones revealing that alleged arrogance.
Oh yeah, the Khaleesi comparison. I have dragons who will fight for me, implying Ryan Reynolds, Taylor Swift.
Basically telling Justin not to fight her because her allies were too powerful gives you a real window into that mindset.
The lawsuit also detailed her alleged attempts to control production, forcing them to hire extra producers she would supervise.
To monitor the director of his own film. A total power grab.
And the intimacy coordinator thing?
Right.
The lawsuit presented evidence it was Blake who refused the coordinator.
Not Justin. Claimed she took control, instructed him how to be sexual and romantic in scenes.
And that stuff got caught on camera by people filming on the street, plus that awkward interview clip.
Where Colleen Hoover basically outed her as acting like the intimacy coordinator, and Blake tried to deny it nervously.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And the texts backed it up. Justin hired one, tried to set up meetings. Blake kept putting it off. I feel good. I can meet with them when we start. Never did.
Plus, she never signed her employment agreement, suggesting maybe she wanted to leverage that to force her way into a producer role later.
It just keeps getting deeper. Then the Ryan Reynolds stuff. Allegedly rewriting scenes behind everyone's back during the writer's strike.
Unbelievable level of interference, if true. And Blake disliked Justin's original cut, the serious, dark one aligned with the book.
She wanted her florals, fun, silly, girly chick flick, so she hired her own post-production team to make a different edit.
And even though test audiences apparently far more preferred Justin Baldoni's version, they went with Blake's cut anyway.
And the craziest part? Justin and his original team weren't even allowed to see Blake's new cut. Texts confirmed it, blocked from seeing changes to their own film.
A complete takeover. It paints a picture of just total sidelining of the original vision, despite audience preference.
And the lawsuit even refuted the breastfeeding trailer claim with texts showing Blake invited Justin in to work on lines while she was pumping.
Every single major allegation seems to have contradictory evidence presented against it. It's remarkable.
What's also remarkable is Justin's team's strategy. Total transparency, dropping totally uncensored, totally unedited evidence.
Planning that website to publish every single email and text. That's unprecedented.
A completely different approach from Blake's alleged tactful, edited, leak-based strategy. Justin's team is just leaving it all out there.
Betting that the unvarnished truth, full transparency, will win in the court of public opinion. And it seems to be working.
This whole thing really does give us so many insights into the bigger picture, doesn't it? Media, power, truth in this digital age.
Definitely. That power of the public courtroom. Social media just generated momentum here that was faster moving and more ferocious than any traditional PR campaign could manage.
You're fighting against like millions and millions of people online who do not miss a single thing.
Right. That PR expert summed it up well. It's not just about convincing one editor anymore. Social media lets people research, conclude for themselves.
It's lifted the veil on those complicated, sometimes unhealthy dynamics in filmmaking. Power plays get exposed.
And that online sleuthing can make or break you. Plus that idea that everything is forever online.
Yeah, nothing gets buried, retractions don't get seen, old stuff comes back. You can't fight millions of people with perfect memory and screenshot tools.
It democratizes information, challenges the old gatekeepers. Authenticity and transparency become kind of non-negotiable for reputation now.
Which brings us to maybe the most troubling aspect, the allegation that Blake Lively weaponized #MeToo for her own gain.
That's a really serious charge, because if true, it takes credibility away from actual survivors.
Right.
It belittles the courage of people who genuinely experience harassment or assault.
Undermines the whole movement. And there was speculation about motive, too. Maybe not just PR, but getting Justin removed via morality clause, taking full control of the franchise with Ryan.
Plausible, given the context. But it also highlights a societal shift, that believe all women moment from 2015-16. Things have changed.
Post Johnny DePamber Heard, especially. People seem more aware of potential manipulation, more critical of allegations. The public BS radar seems higher. Media literacy has grown.
Definitely a more nuanced landscape now. People demand evidence more.
And speaking of patterns, that connection to Ryan Reynolds' past isn't insignificant either. The original Deadpool director, Tim Miller.
Right. He left because, as he put it became clear that Ryan wanted to be in control of the franchise. Said if he couldn't win, he didn't want to play. Ryan gets control if he decides he wants it.
That historical context really strengthens the narrative of an alleged takeover here, doesn't it? Suggests maybe a pattern of behavior around creative control, power dynamics.
And certainly adds weight to the idea that maybe Blake and Ryan were working together to seize control of Justin's project. Makes it part of a bigger Hollywood conversation.
So, pulling way back,
Mhm.
what's the big takeaway from all this? About truth, narrative, media power today?
I think the core lesson is it's almost impossible now for one single narrative to dominate just through mainstream media, legacy media, corporations.
They no longer own our voices, our truth, our information, our evidence, as that one person put it so well.
Exactly. It echoes that idea that citizen journalism is the future. Experts, individuals sharing info directly. Transparency is how you build trust now.
Platforms like X, TikTok, they're the new public square. People posting info, stories, first-hand accounts, videos, amplifying things globally.
Changing lives, swaying opinions, altering perceptions on a massive scale. It's powerful.
Makes you think of that John Mayer song, right? Waiting on the world to change. How corporations owned TV, owned information, could bend it all they want.
But it has changed. This saga, Depp Heard, they show that break, that disruption. It was needed. It makes things messier, maybe more chaotic. But it's arguably protecting truth in a new way.
So quite a journey we've taken here. From that initial confusion and those carefully crafted narratives around, it ends with us.
All the way to the raw, unedited stuff revealed by citizen engagement, digital evidence, a stark reminder. Secrets are harder to keep now. Narratives can flip overnight.
And it leaves us with this really profound question, doesn't it? In an age where every text can be saved, every interaction recorded, every persona picked apart by millions.
Yeah.
What does truth even mean anymore for public figures?
And how will this intense transparency, this vulnerability, reshape everything? Relationships, careers, the whole structure of Hollywood.
Definitely something for all of us to think about.
Right.
What does this deep dive teach you about how you evaluate information, question the stories you're told, and just navigate this incredibly transparent, complex digital world we live in?